I do have a whole kind of another direction to ask David, but Pete, I want to put you a little on the spot. When I first reconnected with Pete about 5 years ago, we were in the Henry Mountains in Utah. I'm told the last mountains to be put on a map in the United States. And we're looking off at the horizon. And Pete still looked like he woke up from a dream. And you were telling me, Pete, and I'm setting you up a little bit here, that from about the age of 13 until like 40, your goal was a gold medal. And like, that's what drove you. And whether it was your personal work, your personal skiing, or your work as, the head coach of the U.S. cross-country ski team, that you were driven by that.
You just froze again.
Oh, can you hear us?
Oh. Yeah, my favorite singer-songwriter. Oh, is he back?
I think you were starting to tell me, Andreas, about Peter's LAC project.
Which is kind of where we're going. Thank you. But so here's the thing. So we're sitting up in the mountains, and Pete looked like someone told me they met Ozzy Osbourne once, and he looked like he'd just woken up from a dream, and he couldn't believe he was like eating, chickens' heads or whatever. Like he just looked really dazed. And Pete kind of looked like that. He's like, what have I been doing? I've spent my entire life trying to ski fast. What a complete waste of time. And don't even get me started about the Olympics. The Olympics is just a big land grab. And so he was like way over here and just saying competition is the poison. It is the waste of time. And so that was Pete about 5 years ago. And then we were together about 2 years ago and had really kind of done this cool double movement. And so this is all the setup, Pete, the colorful setup. But what are you thinking of? You've made a new story about competition that you really have to write your book on. So tell us about Competere.
Tell us.
Yeah. So I really swung. I don't think that's pretty much my whole life. Very much going after things one way. And so I really swung. I was anti-Olympics, anti-competition, anti-sport in general. And actually, and especially that especially happened as my kids were quite young, and I saw all the evil of that path, and so I went in that direction. We're not doing any of that. But then I really started to come back, and especially as my kids actually started to participate in skiing, just going skiing, and I started to see the benefits of just the sport itself. And then I started to see some of the actual benefits of competition and what I got out of that. Just going skiing is unquestionably awesome. I mean, you get so much health and it's great for your mind and so on and so forth. But where does competition come in? And then I started to see, well, I wouldn't really have been involved at a level that that I could really learn something from it without competition. And so then I started to come back, and what Andreas is talking about is kind of the root of the word competition is competere, which, and this is just stuff I read. I'm not a real scholar. So is the root of this word means to seek together. And so I started to really look at competition as a way that by trying your hardest, by doing your best, even if you have set this goal to win, but by trying to do your best and to go your hardest, that is actually exactly what the other people need you to do. So by trying your best, you bring everybody up. And, there's the way that competition is done, which is to try to win by beating everybody down, by beating other people. But this way of competition is really raises everybody up. And that shift in perspective was huge for me. And yeah, I think that's where Andreas was pointing me.
Well, you blew my mind, Pete, when you were talking about that, because I said, why not just go for a run? And he said, well, then you're just the guy running in the woods.
Right.
And
doesn't help anybody else. Yeah.
And I would never have considered that of competition as community building, competition as relationship building. And that you gave the example too of boxers, that from your perspective, the idea is not to knock the other guy out. The idea is two people who are pushing each other to be better and better together, and that you need each other. You need relationships in order to build yourself.
Right.
So what do you think, David? Should he write the book?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think it's going to be called
especially given your background. I think you have a special perspective here that's going to be very important. It reminds me of a lot of other things where say even in Buddhism, there's the idea somehow that, something is bad, and it's not bad in itself. It's a certain type of clinging and grasping that distorts it, that becomes problematical. And often that has to do with means and ends, that one is only competing to get to the end point, right? It's like, who was the football coach who said, winning isn't just the most important thing, it's the only thing.
Right.
So he's missing,
Right.
It's like the Olympics. It's like, that's ego.
Right.
There's no question. That's ego.
Right.
I'm better than you, right? Right. And you're talking about something else, something very beautiful. Now, I'm not a skier, but I'm a chess player. And when I was young, I actually played competitively. I used to play in tournaments, right? And it's very interesting. Chess is a perfect example, because if the opponent isn't very good and you win easily, what's the point? Right. It's not very interesting. The best games are the games where the two people are pretty evenly matched, and then something really creative evolves out of that. Yeah. And I think that's exactly the point that you're making here. So, within the chess world, there are a lot of really famous games. And they're never one-sided games. They're games where that's exactly what's happened. That one guy, the game is so wonderful because that was the only way the guy could win. Exactly. So I think that's a really important point. Yeah.
Just skiing. Global global capitalism, ecological collapse, and personal happiness. What do you think about the title?
You got to tag that on the end for sure.